Hello, hello. Josie here. Are you ready for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and are you sure? Okay, here we go. I just heard a noise, of course, as I started filming. And it doesn't matter, because the message is going to get out regardless of whatever distractions or disturbances that people around me want to perform to try to deter me. I just watched an episode of Ricky Lake, an old episode, and they had a pastor on there by the name of Fred Phelps, who's preached hate from the pulpit, hate for a specific, I'm going to call them minority within the country. But the only reason why I say this is there are a lot of different minorities, and there are different people that are in this world that are being hateful toward those minorities. One group might hate one type of minority, another group might hate another type of minority, and then some of these groups might actually hate the same minorities equally. But the word I want you to recall is hate. Hate. There were things, yes, that God hated. Mostly behaviors, actions, as well as attitudes. But regardless, he did say to love one another. God is the originator, the author, the finisher. So God can hate what he chooses to hate. But us as his children, he said to love one another, not hate one another. So you'll have individuals that will use God hating certain things and equate that, as well as justify that, to why they hate against certain minorities. Which leads me to really believe that those types of individuals are actually working with the devil, whom God kicked out of heaven. Now, what Satan believes and is okay with is different than what God does. So he will actually, in the minds of these people, make them believe and feel that they are justified and valid in their behaviors of being hateful and evil and wicked towards other people, towards minorities, and believing and thinking that they themselves are superior. Because here's the deal with Fred Phelps. Just in watching that show and his behaviors and his actions, as well as his words, he is very centrally focused on one specific group within society. He used the Bible to justify it as well too, his hatred. And then a certain disease at that time that was very rampant and taking out a lot of people as a reason as to why God hates a certain group of people. But if you look at other illnesses, other diseases and whatnot that have been rampant throughout this world, would you equate the same, that God attacked certain individuals with different sicknesses, cancer, and diseases because he hated them? I mean, that's a question. That's a valid question. The main thing is that you accept what God allows. And you're better off to accept what God allows because there's a reason for it. But the reason you think may not be the actual reason why it is. Not only that, as I said, God hates the behavior, the actions and the behaviors, the wickedness that is within people. And what I will tell you is that in all different groups, you're going to have, unfortunately, wickedness and ill behaviors and toxicity and negativity, as well as hate. You have people within certain groups that hate themselves as well as hate those that are within their own group, that will actually sabotage and take people out that are just like them. I'm not going to go into examples. I mean, you just think about it. You process it and think about it. And God hates their behavior. He dislikes their behavior. And the judging is His and His alone. But of course, we in society, we judge each other all the time. And we have our own opinions that make those judgments valid in our minds. And then how we behave and how we act and carry out and behavior towards other people based off of our opinions and our judgments. God doesn't like that because you're taking it into your own hands and calling it justice, calling it doing God's work. But that negative that you're putting out is not what God has called you to do. He called for you to love. But there are some people, they have a hard time loving not only themselves, but anybody that is different from them. Whether that's your sexuality, your race, your gender, your economic background. And that's upsetting to God. God hates that. I'm not going to go too deep. I mean, I went deep with it, but I'm not going to go too much deeper into this because there are a lot of people that believe that they were doing good that are actually going to hell. They believe that their anger, that their judgment, that their behaviors are justified by God. And when they come face to face with God and they realize, oh, you're actually working for the devil with the behavior that you are showing and you're engaging in, the actions that you are working for the devil. And the devil tricked them. The devil tricked them into believing that they were doing God's work. The devil is a sacred trickster. He's a trickster. The devil is a liar. And he will get into the minds of people and twist things and then use that good old book. And then not only just the book, it's the opinions and the feelings and the beliefs that these individuals have about certain beliefs or certain ideals or certain behaviors out here in this world or certain people. And they feel justified in their actions and they're not. A lot of people are preaching hate, disguising it as love. One thing I noticed in the LGBT community when I was in it for a little over a decade was there is so much hate within that community towards others in the community based off of the same crap that we had to deal with in everyday society outside of the community. It was the same hate, prejudice, and biased attitudes that were 10, 20 times worse within the community than outside the community. And so infuriating. And even when I was on the side of transgender women, even though I am not a transgender woman, to see and have to deal with a lot of the hate and competition from those that I was for, it shocked me. Because within that group, they were even more hateful towards others that identified as them. And the behaviors that they engaged in to go against others that were already dealing with so much hatred outside of their community, outside of that space, outside that subgenre, so to speak. I was treated better by those outside than in. So imagine the damage that some of these individuals can do in society as a whole if they're doing that damage within that small subgenre. That's dangerous. That's scary. And what you have to understand, just comprehend this, right? A lot of these individuals think that they're doing good. That they're doing good in the world when they are doing more damage. Not only in the subgenre, but in society as a whole. And that's just one little area. That's one area. I could talk about different races. I can talk about different economic backgrounds. I could talk about sexes. I could talk about sexuality. And I could give you examples within each one of them, how within their subgenre, there is hate. And that hate is overpowering so much that it's now bleeding out into society as a whole. So now you have this mass of hatred from a myriad of different individuals, all from different backgrounds, different viewpoints, different individuals and experiences, as well as beliefs, who they believe in. Like I said, a lot of them, yeah, they do believe in God, but there are some that are playing with the devil, and there are some that think that they're doing God's work, but they're really playing with the devil. It's deep. It's deep. And a lot of the reason why we are in the positions that we're in today in society, a lot of different areas are in short fucked up because of the myriad of attitudes that have some kind of hatred attached to them, that they're trying to disguise as love when it's really hate. And I'm going to say this, Satan is very happy right now with a lot of individuals because of the behavior that they have engaged in, not just recently, but for years. They have been projecting what he has been desiring to happen in this world, and God is not pleased. And remember, Satan still works for God. God is still in control. God is still all-powerful. Believe it or not, he is. This is a game of chess, so to speak. And Satan believes that he is winning, that he has a winning, I'm going to say this, a winning hand, but no, he does not. God is the ultimate chess master. And a lot of people are going to open their eyes and see the light and the truth behind a lot of things, including their own behaviors and where they went wrong and where they fucked